Okay, good morning, everyone. Okay, bumabala pa. Okay, there we go. Okay, so, yun nga, no, we do. So this session is for Calculus 1. So, for my plan is just to, just to give a couple of sample problems. We go through them one by one. I've prepared a few. Some of them actually came from your problem sets. Not sure which section. I think it was. It's the section. It's a section with Miss Danielle as the prof. Uh, and some of these were problems that we encountered also in our correlation exams. So which you will be taking in maybe 1 year or yeah mga a few mga 1 year from now. You'll be taking your correlation exam. Some of these will come out. Some of these gave me PTSD. So I'm gonna share it with you. Uh okay, so yun. We'll start with this one first. So we're asked to evaluate the limit of x squared minus 16 over x minus 4 as x approaches 4. So from first glance you can see that if as x approaches 4, so you can see from the denominator that that the that the expression will approach uh indeterminacy, no? So which means that we can't now if we're going to try to evaluate the limit by substituting 4 to the value of x, we're not going to be able to determine the limit, no? So I'm not sure what method was taught to everyone. Supposedly you can use a table of values where you instead of substituting 4 you can substitute uh a number very very close to 4. But for this case I want to introduce, if it hasn't been introduced, I want to introduce the L'Hospital rule, wherein you can actually get the limit of of a function like this or similar to this by g- by getting the derivatives of the function in the numerator and the function in the in the denominator. So okay. Sige. Let me just get the handle. Okay, so let's just go through it one by one. So this is the gist of the L'Hospital rule is you can get the limit of a function by getting the derivative of numerator and the denominator. So what does that mean? So let's say the derivative of x squared plus 16. So first glance you can already use the power rule. So that's already 2x, for example, and then you have then the and then in the denominator that would just be 1. So from there can we substitute the 4 to the expression? So we can, no? And then that will just give us 8, no? Something like that. So that's the gist of it. And if you use a table of values, try substituting 3.999, 3.9999, you should be approaching 8 as well. So you can do that on the from the left hand side, you can do it from the right hand side. So 4.001, you should be able to. In fact, I think if if you have your calculators, you can try them as I go to the next example. So yeah. So yeah, as you can see, so the limit of a function as x approaches 4 is 8. So we'll try this. We'll try that again with another example. So the limit of x squared minus 1 over x squared plus 3x minus 4 as x approaches 1. So again, we apply L'Hospital rule. Same same process. So getting the derivative numerator, that's just 2x. Then the derivative of the denominator, that's 2x plus 3. Again, these are just power rule, so very simple. Then substitute the value of 1. You should get 2 over 5. So the limit of the function as x approaches 1 is just equal to 2 over 5. So yeah, so just a couple of warm-up exercises. And if you're not familiar with the technique, very simple. It's just the derivative of the top, derivative of the bottom. Okay, so we'll move on. So these are just simple techniques I want to share. So we'll go. Okay, let's go to this one. This is the your differentiation techniques. So here we're asked to find the derivative of y equals the ln of x squared over 3x plus 1. So we have here a logarithmic function. First glance, we so for a problem like this, we want to recall some of the properties of logarithms that we can use. So what would so take a minute. What would be a property of logarithms that we can use here? Because whenever we see fractions, it's very intimidating. So we wanna so as much as possible, we want to keep all of the functions in one line. So what we can use here is the quotient property of logarithms. So yeah, very similar to the exponential property, the quotient property of exponents, uh, but tailored to logarithmic functions. So here, the ln of a over b will just be equal to ln of a minus ln of b. So let's just evaluate. Um, so a here in the function would be x squared, and then b would be 3x plus 1. So substitute. So there. Now we have a function that we can easily differentiate. So we take it one term at a time. Using so the derivative of ln of x squared would just be 1 over x squared times the derivative of the term inside the logarithmic function. So that would be 2x, and then 1, and then minus 1 over 3x plus 1, and the derivative inside the logarithmic function, that's just 3. So you can simplify. Um, I'm not sure if your professors will accept this answer. This should be simplified already, but if you want to go further and then put it in one denominator, you can do so. So here, this is just algebra. This is nothing new to us engineers. All we did was take the least common denominator and then simplify. So just let me know if I'm going too fast or if there's any questions so far. So kung wala naman, we'll just move on. Okay. Here, one more differentiation technique exercise. So we're asked to find the derivative of y is equal to e raised to the cosine squared x, no? So again, so we have to recall one of the properties of or one of the differentiation techniques here. We already see yun nga, Euler's number, so we have properties for that. It's an exponential function technically. So yeah, shortcut natin dito is so whenever we have a function structure like this, we can just use e raised to u would be equal to e raised to u du. So du being the derivative of the term u. So the term u in this case will be cosine squared x. So from there, basic substitution na to. So kayang-kaya na to. So let's just substitute cosine squared x to u. So this is our function. And then differentiate. So yeah. So what happened here? Medyo confusing no kasi parang ang dami nangyari bigla from one line to another. So ang ginawa natin dito kasi is so we have the term. Let's break it down no. Let's start with the exponent. So we have cosine squared x. So cosine squared x. So actually this is just a combination of chain rule. It's just a combination of three chain rules done together, no? So actually dapat ano nga eh. Tama. We start with cosine squared x. So kung i-differentiate natin to, so this is the same as saying cosine of x squared. So parehas lang yung dalawang terms na to, no? So what we can do, so from there, alam na natin kung may ganito tayo, chain rule plus power rule. So kung ipa-power rule natin to, so just bring down 2 cosine of x. And then, chain rule, ang derivative ng cosine of x is just negative sine x. So yan, so nakikita niyo nasa nanggaling to. It's just here, came from here, and then, yun. And then we retain this, ito yung EU natin. Ito yung DU. So yun, doon siya nanggaling. And then the last line, simplify na lang. So mukhang mahaba yung sagot pero kung memorize yun naman yung mga differentiation techniques, kayang-kaya naman siya. It's just a matter of recalling, not necessarily memorize kasi through practice mo kung ano naman to eh. So yun. It's just also having attention to detail, making sure na yun nga, slowly but surely breaking down the problem. Hindi mo kailangan magmadali. So you just do it one at a time. Okay. So yeah. Okay, here. So we were working on differentiation techniques. Now let's work on a problem that is, so yeah, given the equation x squared plus y squared minus 2xy equals 0, find dy over dx. So basically the derivative of the equation, or the first derivative of the equation. So typically we differentiate equations or functions where y is isolated, no? So but in this case, iba yung format or iba yung structure niya. So here, I'm not sure kung na-introduce din sa inyo yung implicit differentiation. Pero let's give it a try. So when you're given an equation here, you want to start with, yeah. So what we're doing is the same thing naman, pero we're differentiating per term with respect to x. Kaya dy over dx. So dito, power rule, simple lang. And then for y squared, naging 2y, y prime. Or for some textbooks, 2y dy over dx. Pag nag-implicit differentiation kasi ako, yung mas prefer ko na naka y prime siya, f prime of x, because it's easier to write down. Kasi usually mahaba pag implicit differentiation, mag-algebra ka pa, and everything. So, prefer ko prefer ko na ganito siya isulat. So anyway, so yun, y squared magiging 2y prime. And then the third term, so familiar naman kayo sa nangyari dito, di ba? 2xy. So what we did here, we just applied the product rule. So ano ba yung product rule natin? So product rule state, so very simply, ano lang siya. So that's just u dv plus v du. So so if we're to examine the third term, 2 times x is y. So again, when we differentiate, we can place the constant aside. Kaya nandito na siya. And then ang u natin is just x. And then ang dv natin is the derivative of y, which is just y prime. Tapos that's v du naman. So that's just y. And then derivative of x is just 1. So yan. Doon siya nanggaling. So product rule siya. Okay. And then next line. So once we've set up this equation, all we have to do is simplify now. And then our objective, whenever we're doing implicit differentiation, is to not make it implicit. So to make y prime explicit. So we isolate y prime on one side. So ayan. So a few algebra techniques. So excuse me. So we'll just we'll combine all of the terms first. Okay. And then isolate all of the terms that have y prime that has a y prime. So we'll put all of that in the left hand side or right hand side, if whichever you prefer. Basta one side lang siya. Yan, tanggalin muna natin 2 kasi yun nga, mas madali. Because again, we can just multiply the whole equation or divide the whole equation by 2 or multiply the whole equation by 1/2. No? And then, so yeah, so as you can see, all of the y prime are in one side, and then those without y prime are in the other side. No? So from here, again, we factor out y prime para ma-isolate siya. And then from here, makikita nyo na where the equation is going. So pag divide mo yung equation by y over x, you will just get y prime equals 1. So that's one way of solving using implicit differentiation. But if you look at the problem, I'm not sure if any of you noticed, you can actually position it so that it looks like this. Okay? Not like this, like this. Okay? So what do you notice about this equation? I think medyo familiar siya for some of you. So ano siya? It's actually a perfect square trinomial. Or otherwise, or it's a expression that you can factor out. So you can factor out the terms and then you get yun nga, a perfect square. So pag perfect square, so tino mo dito, like from here pa lang, ang ginawa ko, wala pa akong ginagawang differentiation at all, no? So I haven't applied any calculus yet. So basic algebra lang. Pero from here pa lang, makikita mo na mas madali na siya i-express or mas madali na siya i-isolate, no? Or simplify. So yan, so get the square root of both sides. So x minus y na lang matitira. And then you have y equals x. Now, ano na itsura niya? So explicit na siya. Explicit na yung y. So mas madali na siya i-differentiate. So if you differentiate this function, yung y prime will just be equal to 1. So yun, isa pang shortcut lang, and then some of the things that you can use pag may nakikita kayong mga problems na ganito, sometimes you can just use yung stock knowledge sa algebra para mas madali yung problem. So hindi basta-bastang kung ano yung process na tinuro sa klase, yun na yun. So may konting diskarte din. And this is one thing na you can use. Okay? Sige. Konting absorb lang. Tsaka, any questions so far? Okay. Okay. So yung next problem, yun, okay. So dito na tayo sa applications of derivatives. So itong mga to, I chose mismo mga applications of uh, differential calculus. Kasi ito yung mga lalabas talaga sa board exam. Like, marami pa rin problems, or hindi naman marami, pero a few na you will encounter in your correlation exams, mga practice, yung mga mock reviews. So lalabas yung mga ganitong types of equations. Tapos rarely may mga figures that come with it, no. So ganito lang siya. So you have to really understand what's being asked in the problem, and then you have to visualize it yourself. Ikaw mismo yung ikaw mismo mag-free body diagram, or ikaw mismo yung gagawa ng figure to in, interpret the problem. So ito. So one of the applications of derivatives is, again, when you get the when you get the when you differentiate a function, what do what are you actually getting, no? So you're getting uh so when you're getting the first derivative of a function, you're getting instantaneous change at a certain point, no? Which can be interpreted as slope. So ano ba yung tangent line ng curve? So again, actually yung mga may encounter mo sa first lesson yan. Usually, let's say you're given a curve that looks like this. At a certain point, for example, makikita mo yung how it increases or decreases instantaneously, no? And then may makukuha kang line. So at this point, may line din. Tapos at this point, may line ka nakukuha. And you can see na per line, iba na yung how high it goes. So which is, again, slope. So we can use that concept and then apply it in this problem. So again, the problem states to find an equation of the tangent line to the curve y equals 2 minus x squared that is parallel to the line x minus y equals 0. Okay, so isa-isahin natin uh, yung information in the problem. So again, tangent line to the curve y equals 2 minus x squared. So dito pa lang makikita mo na anong klaseng curve tong y equals 2 minus x squared. So tingnan natin yung degree of the function. Second degree siya. So most likely, actually hindi most likely, sure na parabolic siya. So meron kang parabolic curve. And then, syempre, it's stated na dito, and then meron kang line na xy. So you have to find a line parallel to this line and then tangent to the curve. Ibig sabihin, it intersects this curve at a singular point. So, yun nga, okay. So, paano natin ma-apply yung differential calculus dito? So, again, what do we know about tangent lines? And what do we know about lines that are parallel? So when two lines are parallel, they need to have the same slope, or they have the same slope. So ano nga ba yung slope? Ano nga ba yung ano? Yung slope so let's use the slope intercept form. So you have y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope. So yan, so syempre, if we need to have a line that's parallel to x minus y equals 0, kunin muna natin yung slope ng line na yon. So rewriting the equation, you have x equals y. Gawin nating slope intercept form, that would just be, ay baliktad to. Y should be equal to, ano, baliktad tong x and y. But generally, same thing naman. Same pa rin yung sagot. Or same pa rin yung slope. So y will be equal to 1, x plus 0. Following the form, yung slope mo dyan is just equal to 1. And then next. So we have the slope of the line. Now let's work on the curve. No, let's put our attention to the curve. So what do we know about this curve? Again, parabolic siya. So negative yung term with the second degree. So pointing downward siya. And then if we get the derivative of the function, we get an equation of a line. So yan, hindi pa tayo tapos, no? Because this can be, so the value of this can change depending on the point, no? And also its slope. So ang makakuha natin again, what do we know about the derivative of a function? So the derivative of a function represents its slope. So we need to find the point at which yung slope na to ng curve, or ng slope ng line at a certain point will be equal to the slope of the line x minus y equals 0. So substitute natin tong y prime. Let's substitute y prime by 1. So ito yung makakuha natin. So what do we achieve by doing this? Makakuha natin yung x coordinate at the point where the slope is equal to 1. So pag nakuha natin yung x coordinate, syempre makakuha na rin natin at which point where it lies on the y coordinate as well. So if we substitute the x to the function of the curve, makukuha na rin natin yung 2 points. So meron na tayong dalawang point dito. So we have 2 points here. But we need to form a line, no? We have 2 points and a slope. So we can use a point slope form to construct our line. So y minus k will be equal to the slope times x minus h. So meron na tayong h, meron na tayong k. Ano yung h natin? That's negative 1/2. Ano yung k natin? 7/4. And then meron tayong slope na 1. So from here, simplify lang. And then remove the denominator by multiplying both sides by the largest value of all the denominators. So we multiply by 4, simplify, and then we have an equation of the line. So ang tanong, is this line parallel to this line? Again, in order to check, gawin mo na lang siya ulit, slope intercept form. At dapat same yung m ng dalawang line. So sige, try nga natin. Baka mamaya nagbobola lang kasi ako eh. Sige, so let's try. So again, dapat yung y nasa left side. Ito naman nangyari dito. So nilipat ko lang yung 4. So this will just be 4 x plus 9. So yan, divide both sides by 4. So ang y mo, x plus 9 over 4. So ito yung slope-intercept form ng line, of this line, and then ito yung slope-intercept form ng this line. So parehas ba yung slope nila? So m here is equal to 1, m here is equal to 1. So may 1 dyan. So yun. So parallel yung dalawang lines. So that's one sign na, so that's one of the indicators na, oy, baka tama yung sagot mo. So pareho yung slope. So parallel talaga siya. So checking lang naman siya. Okay. Okay, let's move on to next problem. Okay, here. A farmer has enough money to build only 100 meters of fence. What are the dimensions of the field he can enclose having the maximum area? Okay, so what do we know about this problem? Number one, we're dealing with dimensions, area. So what kind of figure are we dealing with? So pag may if a fence, usually rectangular area siya. And then maximum area. So from there, from the keyword maximum, we're dealing with so this is an optimization problem. How do we come up with a certain field or certain shape that will yield us the maximum area given given a certain parameter. So yung parameter natin dito is 100 meters of fence. Okay? Sige. So let's try natin muna visualize. So kunyari may fence tayong plot of land. So magbubuo tayo ng rectangle. And then ito yung perimeter niya. So what do we know about the perimeter? So it is the sum of all of the lengths of its sides of a rectangle, no? So let's represent this. So let's say we have the length and the width. We represent it by an equation. So we know that the perimeter should be equal to 100. Kasi 100 meters of fence lang ang pwede natin gamitin. So yan. So both sides, two sides of length, two sides of width, 2L plus 2W equals 100. So that's one piece of information that we can use to solve this problem. So ano next? What do we know about the area? So how do we get the area given the length and width? So that's just the product of the two, diba? So length times width equals the area. Okay. So if we're dealing with optimization problems, and then we have this information, so we want to keep the unknowns to a minimum. So how can we express one unknown to the other? So we just manipulate this equation. So manipulate natin tong equation 1. So all I did here was isolate one variable. So you can choose which one you want to isolate. It doesn't really matter so long as you're consistent when in your computation. So for this, we chose to isolate length. So length is equal to 50 minus width. Substitute that to the equation of the area. Meron tayong area is equal to width times quantity 50 minus width. Okay. Kung optimization problem yan, we achieve a maximum at the point where its derivative is equated to 0, no? So let's first get the derivative of this function. So if the area, so kukunin natin si dA over dW. So ang derivative niya will just be 50 minus 2W. So again, maximum when when the derivative is equated to 0, maximum or minimum siya depending on the problem. In this case, maximum siya. So once you equate to 0, yung width mo 25 meters na. Okay. Next, substitute the width to the first equation, the equation of the perimeter. Makikita natin na yung length also 25 meters. Now, pagdating sa well, actually hindi naman pagdating doon. It's a general fact na you can achieve whenever you're dealing with rectangular shapes that have, and then you're dealing with all sides, the maximum area will always be a square. So you can test that out. Pwede mong trial and error yon. So let's say kung 26 by 24 yung, so if you input na calc, kung kunyari 26 by 24 yung area ng, or yung dimensions ng rectangle mo. So you multiply 26 by 24, and then you multiply 27 by 23, so on and so forth. Nakikita mo, lumiliit yung area. So testing. Kunyari, so 26 times 24, 624. 27 by 23, 621. Pero kung 25 by 25, 625 siya. So generally, in these kinds of problems, especially kung all four sides of the rectangle are concerned, kung yung maximum area, laging square siya. So knowing that, sa finals naman nata multiple choice lang. So hindi ka na magde-differentiate. Pag nakita mo na yung problem na to, meron ka ng, yun nga, for example, meron ka ng, clear muna natin to. So yan, ito yung restraint mo, no? 100 meters. Eh, alam mo yung area square. So 4S, kasi square nga siya, so 4 sides yung perimeter. So equals 100. So alam mo na yung side is 25. So kunyari, press for time ka sa finals, may mga ganito, you can use this kasi multiple choice lang naman siya. Wala naman ata solution dun eh. So, and then technique din siya for pag nagko-corel ka na or sa board exam, mga ganun. So pwede mo gamitin itong mga techniques na to. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, so this one I saw in yung problem set na isang section eh. So another application of in derivatives is the relationship between displacement, velocity, and acceleration, no? So what do we know about the relationship between the three? So we know that the function for displacement, or at least the derivative of the function of displacement, is its velocity. And then the second derivative of the function of its displacement is its acceleration. So yun, we can use that information to solve this problem, no? So given the problem, the position function gives s as a function of time t. So s being its displacement, time t is time. Find the velocity as a function of time and the velocities after 2 seconds and 4 seconds, giving the function s equals 8t squared minus 24t plus 5. So this is your displacement function. So, oops. So yun nga. We know that velocity is just ds over dt. So Pag kukunin natin yung velocity ng given the displacement function, we just get the first derivative. So power rule, power rule. So yeah, ds over dt is equal to 16t minus 24. And this is now your velocity function. Then substitute lang. Pag when times 2 seconds, your velocity is 8 meters per second. And then when time is 4 seconds, substitute lang din ulit. Your velocity is 40 meters per second. So yun lang na, very easy naman siya. And then gamit na gamit siya, even in, magagamit mo ulit to sa physics 2 nyo. Actually sa physics 1, meron na ata ang ganito eh. And then later on sa dynamics, gamit na gamit ulit siya. So, yun nga. So don't forget this concept, no? Checking the time. Okay, moving on. So next, another application of differential calculus. So let's read the problem. A 15-foot ladder is leaning against the wall. If the top of the ladder slides down the wall at a rate of 3 feet per minute, how fast is the bottom of the ladder moving along the ground when it is exactly 5 feet from the wall? So, yun nga, first glance medyo marami siyang sinabi. So, isa-isayin natin. So, ano yung mga given natin? So, we have 15 feet ladder. So, leaning against a wall. So, pag leaning, ibig sabihin, nakaslant siya. And then we have, so it slides down at a rate of 3 feet per minute. And then, how fast is the bottom of the ladder moving along the ground when it is exactly 5 feet from the wall? So, yun. So, ito yung tatlong gagamitin natin for the information. So, let's illustrate. So, we have the ladder here. So, ano yung magagamit natin info? So, 15-foot ladder siya. So, length of the ladder yon. So, nagsa-slide down yung ladder. Ibig sabihin, at this point, pababa siya. And then, we know that, and then, ang point of interest natin is when the ladder is exactly 5 feet from the wall. So, ilalagay natin dyan. So, ang length ito, 5 feet. Ito, 15 feet. And then, it's sliding down at the rate of 3 feet per minute. So, yun nga. How fast is the bottom of the ladder moving along the ground? Okay. So, kung nagsaslide down tong ladder, saan papunta yung bottom part? So, kunyari pababa tong ladder na to, anong direction yung bottom part? Ede, going to the right. Siyempre, hindi naman pwedeng going to the left pareho nagsaslide down. Ede, lumilit yung ladder mo. So, going to the right. So, yun yung rate of change ng X mo or yung ng horizontal. So, when it's moving to the right. And of course, isa pang unknown mo which we will need is kung gaano kalayo na to when or how far is the topmost part of the ladder from the bottom. So may dalawang unknown that we need to figure out. One unknown is easier to get than the other, no? So let's deal with that first. Ito, meron kang, what does this form? This forms a triangle. What can we use when we're looking for sides of a triangle given the two other sides? Pwede tayo mag-Pythagorean. Or we applied Pythagorean theorem. So gets nyo naman what happened here, no? So we're just hypotenuse less the square of the hypotenuse less the square of one of its sides. So yun. So we have So we have the value for another side. Ngayon, since we're dealing with a triangle nga, i let's apply again that let's apply again the Pythagorean theorem. No, let's use it as the model for this equation. So we have x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So ano yung r dito? Ano yung r mo dito? Ito yung 15. Yung x mo will be the horizontal and then yung y will be the vertical. So pag differentiate siya, we have a function that looks like this. So a couple of things, no? Ang daming unknowns pa rin. So one by one, what can we assign here? So alam natin yung r, 15. So pwede natin assign yan. And then yung x, 5 feet. And then may rate of change tayo ng vertical. So we can assign that as our dy over dt. So again, with respect to time siya. So ang kailangan natin hanapin is dx over dt. And then na-solve na natin yung y. Pero ano tong dr over dt? Ang ang question is, pag sa slide down ba yung ladder, nagbabago ba yung length niya? Because sabi natin r is yung length eh. So alam natin na constant yung length ng ladder. So r can be treated as a constant. And what is the derivative of a constant? It's just 0. So 0 na siya. So we're left with so tanggalin muna natin tong other coefficient. Because tanggalin natin yung 2, no? So let's divide both sides, the whole equation by 2. So what are we left with? We're left with 2x dx over dt plus 2y dy. Well, actually, x dx over dt plus y dy over dt is equal to 0. So that's the first derivative. So substitute na natin yung mga knowns natin. So we have ang x natin is 5 feet. Yung y natin, we solved it, 10 square root of 2 feet. Tapos yung rate of change, so downward direction siya, so negative siya, will be negative 3 equals 0. So isolating dx over dt, meron tayong 6 square root of 2 or 8.49 feet per minute. So yun na yung rate of change. So as the ladder slides 3 feet per minute down, it's sliding to the right at the rate of 8.49 feet per minute. So yun siya. So very useful information. Di ko alam saan nyo gagamitin yan, pero yun nga. Concept na naman tinuturo ko. But yeah, it's a application, no? And also, in medyo pampasanay din sa inyo kasi pagdating sa statics nyo, pagdating sa physics, you're going to have to get used to assigning signs for direction. So, yun nga, kaming mga higher years na, sanay kami na pag downward or to the left, negative. Pag upward or to the right, positive. Okay, actually, last problem ko na ata to for this session. Isisingit ko lang sana yung curve tracing, no? Because again, and even when I was in the first year, this was discussed in passing. It wasn't really included in the assessments, no? Pero from what I understand, sa curriculum ng first years, nakita ko rin siya sa problem set. So kasama siya and then kasama din siya sa final. So singit tayo ng isang problem just for enrichment, no? So we're asked to sketch the curve of f of x is equal to 1 over 3 x cubed minus x squared minus 3x plus 4. So, so from the, oops, may ano na, spoiler. So ang una natin tingnan is yung degree niya. So we have x cubed. And then without a graphing tool, medyo mahirap siya i-visualize, no? Kasi more than 2 degrees na yung function eh. Ang sanay tayo pag second degree, kaya pa natin i-graph kasi dahil nga sa EM2 natin. Pero pagdating sa cubic, medyo mahirap na siya. So we use differential calculus to get an estimation of what the curve of certain functions will look like. Para lang meron tayong idea what the behavior of the curve. Sometimes that's all we need to know eh. Its behavior, kung ano yung trend niya, kung pataas ba, kung ano yung concavity niya. So that's where we can use uh, differential calculus. Specifically yung first derivative and yung second derivative. So in curves, what does the first derivative represent, no? So ang sabi natin kanina, the first derivative can represent slope and the direction whether the curve is going upward or downward. And then yung second derivative is inflection. So kung asan yung inflection point, and then what we know about the science is that pag yung positive yung first derivative, going upwards yung curve, and then kung positive yung second derivative, ano yung concavity niya? Kung facing upwards, facing downwards. So, try natin dito. Excuse me. Let's start by getting the first derivative and the second derivative of the function first. So, yon power rule, very simple. So, meron tayong f prime of x and yung f double prime. So, yun yung dalawang uh, there's the first and the second derivative. So, how do we use that now in the function? So, the second step after getting the derivatives, the first and second derivative. So let's get the critical points of each equation. So let's start with the first derivative. Ano ba yung critical points nito? How do we get that? So again, in order to get the critical points, we try to get the points at which nagkaka minimum or maximum. And then, saan nga ba ulit nagme-min-max yung first derivative? So yung mga points when the slope is 0. So kunyari yun yung curve mo. So at those points where you get a slope of 0. And we know that the first derivative is the slope. So equate natin to 0. So kunyari x squared minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So actually pwede na diretso sa calculator to eh. So 5 so mode 5 down tapos 1. So quadratic equation. So pag hindi pa kayo familiar dito sa Caltech, pwede naman ako message or like lapitan sa when in school, pwede naman may turo sa inyo. Actually, any second or third year should know how to do this. So madali na lang intindihan to. But essentially, what we're doing is we're getting the values of x when equated to 0. So yung conventional method, ipa-factor mo na lang siya. So alam natin na x minus 3 x plus 1 sa unang tingin siya. Factor. So ang critical points mo is when x is 3 and negative 1. Pero sa Caltech, pwede naman siya input diretso. So 1, -2, -3. So yan, you'll get 3 and -1 pa rin. So yun yung critical points. So again, at those points, lagyan na natin sa number line. So at those points are when the curve has either a maximum or a minimum. So paano natin malalaman kung max, min, or minimum siya? Is kapag yung function, when assigned a value of x, is negative or positive. So kung positive siya, maximum. Kung negative, minimum siya. So let's try that out. First derivative, assign natin a value lower than -1. So sige, try natin -2. So what we're doing here, we're just substituting. So so we're using this equation, substitute x by a value lower than -1, so -2. So what you'll get there is so ang makukuha mo dyan is positive. So positive to. In this case, usually, i-check mo lang kung positive pa rin siya at this point. So you can assign, so gawin na lang 0. So from there, 0, makikita mo agad na pag 0 to, negative na yun siya. So negative. May pattern ang mga curves na to. Usually, pag ganyan, positive, negative, positive, hindi siya nagiging positive, negative, negative, positive, no? So usually after a critical point, positive na siya. So you don't have to, kunyari 7 yung degree nito. Hindi mo kailangan i-check lahat kung positive or negative. Pagka-pattern yan is usually alternating lang. So hindi mo kailangan i-check. Pero syempre kung overthinker ka tulad ko, i-check mo pa rin siya. And then, so yun yung critical points ng first derivative. So let's work on the second derivative now. Positive to. So pagdating sa second derivative, so same process lang. We get first the critical point. So nagzi-zero out. So equate to 0 ulit. 2x minus 2. Oh my god, pangit. So x will just be equal to 1. So yung critical point sa second derivative so is 1. So ilagay natin sa number line. And then, same process also. We want to know at which point our second derivative is positive and or negative. So let's assign value. So 2. So less than 1 muna, so 0. So we know negative siya. So since wala namang other critical point than 1, so lahat na ng less than 1, negative na siya. So negative throughout siya. So negative, negative dito. And then, pag greater than 1 siya to, actually pag greater than 1 siya, positive agad siya eh. Yung line kasi. So yan, so may positive, positive. So we have 4 intervals and then 3 critical points. So i-mark muna natin tong critical points sa graph. Yarnch. Okay. So at the interval from negative, so negative infinity to -1. So ito yung interval niya. Ang first derivative is positive. And then yung second derivative, negative. So sa first derivative again, pag positive, maximum siya. So, and then sa second derivative, actually, yung second derivative will just tell you kung yung shape ng graph. So it can be like this. Ano ba yung, like this, or like this. So apat lang naman yan. Um, yung palatandaan ko for this, pag positive, si second derivative, happy. Kasi positive. So happy. So pag ganun or pag ganun siya. So it forms a happy face. Pag negative naman ang second derivative, sad siya. So pag ganun or pag ganun. So it will just depend on the first derivative kung which one. So ito yung positive na second derivative, ito yung negative. So again, pag maximum, ibig sabihin, so ito yung, sige, kung f prime natin ito, f prime lang para f, tapos f double prime. So ito yung pag positive yung f prime, tapos negative. So ganun siya. Pero yun, if you don't wanna memorize kung ano yung tsura niya, yun yung palatandaan. Maximum or minimum. So maximum positive pag f prime, negative minimum. Yung f double prime, positive happy, negative sad. So yun yung pwede mong gawin. So isa-isahin natin yung sa number line. So ito, so from this interval, positive first derivative, so maximum, or going upwards, and then negative, so sad. So from here, dapat tatama dito siya. So not necessarily tatama sa critical point yung graph kasi I think that's one of the common mistakes. So yung graph hindi laging ganyan, hindi tatamang ganyan. So that's not what the critical points are indicating. Ang indicate lang sa critical point is may magbabago. Depende sa first derivative or second derivative. So para lang meron tayong guide, kunin na muna natin tong y-intercept ng y-intercept ng original function natin. So dito ulit tayo sa f of x. Kung yung y-intercept niya, when x is 0, so tanggal to, so it's just gonna be positive 4. So ang y-intercept niya would be 0 and 4. So this point. Ito, talagang the line will intersect at this point kasi y-intercept nga siya. So yun yung palang tandaan. So what do we know about, so again, going back to the interval, so kung sad siya, tapos magma-max point somewhere siya. So the graph can look something like this. So passage. Ugly. Sige, so passage siya at this point. So nag-maximum siya at this point. And then interval, so yung next negative. So from negative 1 to 1, negative na siya. So sad siya going down. So yan, tatama siya. Oops. Tatama siyang sa intercept and then magbabago siya at the critical point na 1. So tingnan natin yung next. So negative first derivative. So going down pa rin siya. Pero positive na yung second derivative. So magiging happy siya. So magbabago. So nagka-inflection point siya. So again, since sketch lang siya, hindi naman kailangan sobrang sakto, pero kailangan natin pakita na nag-change yung concavity niya. Kasi nagbago yung F double prime. Oops, wait lang. Lagyan natin ng certain space. And then at the third point, positive na siya. So mag-change na yung direction. Same concavity, pero different direction. So aangat na siya. So yun yung rough sketch ng curve. So again, recap lang. The first derivative tells you which direction the curve, the direction of the curve. The second at a critical point. And then the second derivative will show its concavity. So kung whether happy face siya or sad face. Yung common error, hindi lagi siyang tatama sa critical point. The critical point will just show that there will be a change in how the curve behaves. So dito nagbago siya. So from upwards, bumaba siya. Dito sa isang critical point na to, nagbago yung inflection point niya. From sad, naging happy. And then dito, from dito sa point na at 3, yung concavity, hindi siya concavity, sorry. Yung direction niya, pababa, naging pataas. So yun lang. So yun lang yung something to take note of sa curve tracing. The critical points will tell you that there will be a change in the behavior of the curve, whether it's direction or yung concavity. So yun lang. I think that's all I have for this session. Kung may questions man or kung may mga other problems na may gusto kayo solve, I guess we can still do that, pero for around 5 to 10 minutes lang. But otherwise, thank you for your time. No, this was my first time doing this also, so magandang experience siya. Na-enjoy ko naman siya. I enjoyed preparing for it. And yun, hopefully meron tayong more sessions na ganito. So yun lang. That's it for this morning. Thank you again, and yun nga, good morning.
Thank you very much, Kuya, for that very informative and engaging discussion. So, may natutunan ba kayo, guys? I hope so. Kasi talaga magtuloy. Okay. And well, to see that, we will proceed to the question and clarification portion of our program. And if there are any parts of the discussion I would like to review or understand better, feel free to ask your questions in the chat box or raise your hand. And our mentor will be open and ready to answer any question. Wag lang about sa love life and pera. So ayan, I think as we proceed with our event, on behalf of the organizers and participants, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to our mentor, Kuya Locke Narciso, for sharing your expertise with us today. So your time and knowledge and guidance have greatly helped our students understand important civil engineering concepts and prepare for their upcoming examinations. So let us give all mentor a virtual round of applause. Ayan. So let's now move to our program, and thank you again for the start and cooperation in this session. So last session is nagkaroon tayo ng raffles. So tawag ngayon is may manalo ulit ng raffle. So as we move on, EERC provided us with more books to give for this review session. Yes, stay tuned as we announce all the winners in our CE community. Raffle draw. So please make sure na nandun na kayo sa mga G's natin at abangan ang inyong pangalan. Malay mo, isa ka na pala sa nanalo. So pwede rin namang ibigay nyo na lang sa akin. So, ayan, before we end our morning session, here are a few reminders and announcements. So, please do not forget to complete the attendance form if you have not done so yet. And we also encourage everyone to review the materials provided today as they will serve as the helpful references for your upcoming examination. And of course, before we end, let us have a photo op muna. So may we request everyone to open their cameras for this little capture of moment. So ayan, open cameras for photo op. So for our for our raffle, we will present po to show transparency if sino po ang mananalo for the raffles.
Hello. Can you guys see the pin the bell po? Ayun, okay, nice. So, merong mananalo ng dalawang engineering mechanics archive na book. Then, ito,